The story begins in a place thick with forgotten things, an antique shop tucked away on a dimly lit street, a dusty attic filled with relics of the past, or perhaps an estate sale where the belongings of the dead are laid out for strangers to pick through. Here, the protagonist, perhaps a curious collector, a grieving heir, or just someone drawn to the strange and old, stumbles upon a mirror unlike any other. It's an ornate thing, its frame carved with symbols that seem to shift when stared at too long, its glass just a little too dark, as if reflecting a world slightly out of sync with our own. The air around it feels heavy, charged with something unspeakable. Maybe the shopkeeper hesitates before selling it, muttering warnings in a tone that suggests they've seen this before. Or perhaps there's no warning at all, just a name whispered in local legend, a story about those who owned it before and how they met their ends. The protagonist, of course, doesn't believe in such things. Or maybe they do, but curiosity is a stronger force than fear. They take the mirror home, place it in a room where the light never quite reaches it properly, and for a while, nothing happens. Then, one night, when the house is quiet and the protagonist stands before it, maybe adjusting its position, maybe just staring absently, the mirror does something impossible. For the briefest moment, their reflection isn't their own. Instead, they see themselves in some terrible future instant, pale and lifeless, surrounded by flames, or water, or twisted metal. A flash of their own death, clear as day, before the image vanishes, leaving only their normal, wide-eyed face staring back in horror. And just like that, the story truly begins. The first time it happens, the protagonist almost convinces themselves it didn't. Maybe it's late, the hour when the house creaks and shadows stretch too long, or maybe it's broad daylight, the cruelest kind of horror, striking when the world feels safest. They glance into the mirror out of habit, expecting to see only their own tired face, the usual flaws and familiar features. But instead, for one heart-stopping second, the reflection is wrong. The room behind them in the glass twists, walls bleeding into darkness, the air shimmering like heat off pavement. Their own face contorts, mouth slack in silent terror, eyes wide with a knowledge too awful to name. And then, worse than anything, the vision unfolds. A car crumpling like paper, their body limp behind the wheel. A figure in the dark, a glint of steel, a scream that never leaves their throat. Themselves, decades older, gasping for a final breath in a sterile hospital room, alone, or worse, something without explanation, something that makes no sense, their own hands clawing at their skin, their reflection dissolving into smoke, the mirror showing them not a death but an ending, something beyond human understanding. Then, snap, it's over. The mirror is just a mirror again. Their own face stares back, pale and shaken, but alive. They swallow hard. Their fingers tremble as they touch the glass, half expecting it to burn. A trick of the light, they whisper, my eyes playing games. But deep down they know, the mirror doesn't lie. And what they saw? It's waiting for them. At first they laugh. A nervous, breathless sound, too loud in the empty room. That didn't happen, they tell the silence. But the memory clings like a film of sweat, cold and undeniable. They pace, running fingers through their hair, grasping for logic. A hallucination, fatigue, stress, anything but the unthinkable. That the mirror showed them something real. They return to it cautiously, as if approaching a sleeping predator. This time, they angle their body, squinting at the glass from the side, testing it. The reflection stays normal. Relief floods them. See? Just your mind playing tricks. But then, a flicker. A shadow where none should be. Their breath catches. They lean closer, and the mirror shifts again. This time, they jerk back before the full vision can form, heart hammering. The denial cracks. Fear takes root. They bring someone else in. A roommate, a lover, a friend, someone they trust enough to watch them go quietly insane. "Look into it," they urge, voice tight. "Tell me what you see." The other person frowns but humors them, peering at their own reflection. A beat, two. Myself? A shrug. It's a mirror. The protagonist's stomach drops. Why them? Why only me? They push. "Look harder, don't you see?" "See what?" Annoyance now. "Are you okay?" The question hangs in the air. No, they're not. Sleep-deprived, they snap. They throw a blanket over the mirror. Then, trembling, they yank it off again, as if daring it to show them. It does. This time, the vision lingers. Their death plays out in agonizing detail, searing itself into their mind. They stagger back, gasping. Denial is no longer an option. Now, there's only one question left. Can it be stopped? The knowledge of their own death clings to them like a second skin, suffocating and inescapable. At first, they try to outsmart it. If the mirror showed them dying in a car crash, they sell their car, vows never to step foot in one again. If it was fire, they check their smoke detectors obsessively, sleep with a fire extinguisher beside their bed. They become a prisoner of their own precautions, mapping their entire life around the vision, avoiding certain streets, certain people, certain days. But fate is a patient hunter. Small things begin to unravel. A missed train, a sudden fever, a stranger's glance that lingers too long. All of it feels like the universe tightening its grip. They start seeing omens everywhere. A crow perched outside their window, a broken mirror in an alley, the same numbers repeating on clocks, receipts, license plates. The world itself seems to whisper, "You can't run." They seek help in desperate, erratic ways. A psychic with trembling hands tells them the future is already written. A priest performs an exorcism on the mirror, only to recoil when his own reflection twists into something unholy. An online forum suggests destroying the cursed object, but when they try, raising a hammer, a fist, a flame, something stops them. A voice in their head, or maybe the voice of the mirror itself. "If you break me, you won't see it coming." And that's the true horror, not knowing when or how. The vision gave them a terrible gift, certainty. Without it, they're left groping in the dark, jumping at every shadow. So they keep the mirror. They hate it, but they need it. They return to it like an addict, searching for some loophole, some detail they missed. Maybe if they stare long enough, the vision will change. Maybe they can find a way to cheat it. But the reflection never wavers. Their death is waiting, and it's closer now. The day arrives quietly, unremarkably, just like any other. They almost miss it at first. The morning is ordinary, coffee brewed too strong, a sky choked with clouds, the usual rush of minutes slipping toward an uncertain hour. But then, a prickle of unease, a familiar shape glimpsed in a shop window, a street sign that echoes something from the mirror's vision. Number. Their breath comes fast. They try to pivot, to backtrack, to force the day into a different shape, but it's too late. The pieces are already moving, a screech of brakes, a missed step, a stranger's hand brushing theirs in a crowd, and then the cold, dawning realization. This is it. The mirror never lied. The last thing they see is their own death, unfolding exactly as promised. Not in some dramatic twist, but with a terrible, quiet inevitability. The world narrows to a single, perfect moment, the one the mirror showed them long ago. And then, nothing. Epilogue. The mirror is found again. It always is. A curious hand wipes dust from its surface. A pair of eyes, wide and unsuspecting, peers into the glass, and the cycle begins anew. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.